Hello, you're listening to Be a Voice, Not an Echo, and I'm your host today, Regina Stafford, board certified life coach, wife, mom, and marketplace minister. So let's get into today's question. Why do some people put on a show and entertain instead of just preaching the word of God without the shenanigans? I've often asked myself this question as well, especially if I catch a preacher on TV or, I'm at a church and I see that they're being overly dramatic, doing their thing with their voice, that gasping with each inhale. I don't relate to it, but some people must because they have a big following. When they preach like this, they still have a big audience. My best guess is that it's what they've seen and learned in their circles. It could be a cultural thing. It gets their crowd excited. It gets the people to respond. It's an interactive thing. And that's fine, for people who enjoy that. The problem is that it's only going to be received within their circle. People who are different than them, who just like preaching without, any extra, what would you call it? I don't know, extra theatrical things thrown in, they will be turned off by it. The other downside is that they're going to miss out on reaching a lot of people because of the fanfare. But personally, I don't care for this sort of preaching. But if the preacher's saying something of worth and value, I'll listen. I'll push past, what I'm comfortable with and just understand that some people just, they get excited and they use, props with their voice and such for emphasis to their point. It's just how it is. The main point here, I think, is are they saying anything of value? There's some people I've come upon that have made lots of noise, but they're never saying anything. They were all hype and no substance. Since I don't ever like to throw the baby out with the bathwater, sometimes I'd purposely listen to them to see if there was a message in what they were saying, but never really got one. So that was kind of disheartening. But I found that, I have to turn it off pretty quick so that I don't become critical, because that's not what I want to do. When I first started my relationship with the Lord, I remember seeing T.D. Jakes on video, and I couldn't connect with him at all at that point. But I saw what a big following he had and how popular he was getting, and I decided to give him a listen. And my goodness, this man had such wisdom and such gold stored up in his heart that honestly, if he stood on his head to preach, I'd probably still listen to him. He always has something to say, always has such wisdom and nuggets, and he just, he gets excited and that's fine. He makes me laugh. So I think for the most part, it's a personal preference, So if you feel at all curious, don't just throw it out, just before you judge too quickly or too harshly, give it a listen and see if they're saying anything worthy of your time. You never know. If not, like I said, before, I had to walk away, shut it off, whatever, before I became too critical or too bothered with what you called their shenanigans. So, I would suggest you do the same. Okay, so since this answer was briefer than usual, I wanted to take a minute to remind you that I'm still open to taking your questions if you have more that you'd like to send me before we go on to other different topics. So that could be anything spiritual, your relationship with God, spiritual growth, the prophetic, hearing God's voice, relational, friendships, marriage, children, families, anything having related to anxiety and panic attacks, learning to some coping mechanisms or calming techniques. I have a lot of experience with that and would love to share it with you, or even just your own self-worth, learning to love yourself, learning to change the way you see yourself. I so enjoy helping people get their aha moment, that moment where things begin to resonate within them, because that's where the true growth and the transformation begins. So please send them on in. And as always, you can reach out and connect with me at rewardscoaching.com. I'm excited about my new website. It's streamlined. It's easy to use. It has great content to encourage and inspire you. And be on the lookout for my new book list that I'm going to be putting in there. I'm going to add it to the resources category. Books that I love, that I've benefited from greatly, that have just given me so much wisdom and insight. and I'm going to be sharing them with you. They'll also have a link so that if you chose to look into it or want to purchase it, you can just go right to that link to Amazon. So also you can join with me on Facebook at Regina Fiorello Stafford. You can join with me at Regina Fiorello Stafford and Instagram at Regina Staff. You got all that? It's been great connecting with you on Be a Voice and Not an Echo. And until next time.